It's time to go. Yeah.
Start it again. Start it again. And we are live.
Ayo, it's time to go. Yeah. You know what it is. Get into it. Don't act like you don't already know the name. Let's go. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? You heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. Now it's on.
All right, you're muted. Welcome everybody.
Technical difficulties. The mic went orange. It wasn't green. We started before the cue. Lord have mercy. Let's see if we can recover.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Mother and Son
Welcome
making
to
sense out of nonsense plus more. We got a jam-packed show for you today.
We do have a jam-packed show. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Lord have mercy. The show must go on. The show is on. But before we go further, remember, like and subscribe and share. Like and subscribe. You can't comment because I turned the comments off, but like and subscribe. Oh, and we are also sponsored by soon to be Boss Water. Boss Water, the wetter, better water. And you all know, you ask anybody, wetter water is better water.
All right. So if you're new to us or if you've been joining a while, you know this is a show about spirituality, a show about us as individuals and us as a mother-son combo team trudging through the journeys and the speed bumps and the triumphs of life and coming out the other end to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do today. We usually like to start off each show with word of the day. And
But
I'm going to
before
get
we get to the word of the day, I just want to introduce myself. I am a self-proclaimed happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, oracle, also an author, a writer, and a speaker. And I have a live show by my own self on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube.
and I'm her son. So my word of the day is enticing. Enticing means attractive or tempting, often in a way that arouses desire or interest. So synonyms: tempting, captivating, irresistible, luring, inviting, seductive. This is a positive form using it in a sentence, but the enticing promise of inner peace draws many to meditation. But I really picked the word because I wanted it to coincide with temptation and really the temptations of the ego.
Ooh, that I love that word enticing. I don't think I use that word. I know it, but I don't use it. I'm going to start using it now.
Same here.
Enticing. I'm going to have to say, damn it, driving past Taco Bell sure is enticing to drive in the drive through and get a Mexican pizza. That's enticing, but I ain't going to do it.
Well, not often.
Thank you. You're right, but it's not the same. My word of the day is also a often used word, and it just happened this morning. The word is guilt. Guilt, guilt. The fact of having committed a specific or implied offense or crime, making someone feel guilty, especially in order to induce them or entice them to do something.
Well,
Thank you,
that's a
Nate.
little bit of a synchronicity there. Entice them to do something. Well, good word. Of course, I know that word, but I don't like the feeling of that word.
And let me share that today, my perspective is I was enticed to feel guilty. I was going back and forth on Messenger, and this person, it's a whole thing. This person sent back, because apparently they didn't like my response, and sent back an emoji with a tear. What is your perspective when what does that mean to you if somebody sends you an emoji with a tear?
Emoji with the tear is to me a sad emotion, sad energy, and that's my initial response. Maybe it's yeah, it's just sad. I hope that if I talk to somebody or say something to someone, I can't help but prefer that they're not sad afterwards. I would prefer that they're somehow uplifted.
Well, listen, I said to myself and out loud, they picked the wrong person to send a sad emoji to with a tear, because this is a whole lesson. I don't care if you feel sad. I don't care if you feel mad or sad, because your feelings are not my responsibility. And it's a program that people it's a programmed behavior that people now I'm sad, you made me feel sad. No, I didn't make you feel sad. Your feelings are your responsibility. I'm not that powerful. So they picked the wrong person to send a sad emoji. I'm going to make this a whole lesson, a whole chapter.
Wow. So, well, well, I love the topic of feelings being one's responsibility. That's a really tricky one because, as far as programming and what I'm so used to seeing growing up, and even the verbiage, how people talk to each other, and how I learned to talk to people was, you make me sad. Or now I'm sad because I'm not getting what I want out of you, or getting what I want. So it's the naming, it's the having a story of why I'm feeling an emotion, and then and that could be the cause of another person. So that's a whole topic there. How do we get from you make me sad to I'm just feeling sad, or I'm just feeling an emotion? How do you get there?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to take off my mom hat and put on the RLN hat. I'm so glad you asked that question. This week has been a lot of new new not revelations, but new things happening, new experiences. And I was on the elliptical this morning, and I was thinking of one scenario, and wow, I was just really up and felt good. Yeah, that's a good one. And then I was thinking of another scenario, real life things that are happening, and and so then I had to say, are that those feelings have nothing to do with the story in my head of something that is working out in my favor or working out not in my favor. And I had to really check that no, I'm just feeling this way, and it has nothing to do with anything working out or not working out.
Yeah, well, that's a tricky. Well, the commoner wants to know, how the hell did you do that? Because it's so easy. It's very enticing to attach a reason why. I hear that all the time. Well, what's the reason? I even hear this phrase in spirituality. There's a reason for everything. Everything has a reason. So my emotion must have a reason. There's got to be some explanation for this.
Yes, and I'm glad you asked, Grasshopper, and this is a perfect time. My latest book, Program for Unhappiness: Exposing the Untold Truth, on Amazon. There is a reason, and the reason is because it's time to feel this way. But I was programmed to attach a story as I'm feeling this way, because that word "because" is a clue, is tricky. And because no, the volcano erupts because it's time. I know the underlining scientific reasons, but my feelings and emotions come and go because it's time. I was programmed to attach a story. But if you want to experience more happiness, more contentment, more inner peace, practice not attaching a story, and practice witnessing those stories and saying, oh, look at Rebecca wants to attach this story. Rebecca wants to attach, oh, she's irritated because of customer service. By the way, which I was on the phone 2.5 hours with Brother and with Apple, 2.5 hours. And that's why I was so, oh, no, it was just time to feel that way.
So were you telling me after 40 years of my life blaming you for my emotions that you weren't really to blame at all? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I would say exactly that, except for the word really. Take out the word really. I am not the reason for your emotions. I am not the reason for your disdain. I am not the reason for your hate or disgust. I am not the reason.
You forgot irritability.
I am not the reason for your irritability, chronic irritability.
I disagree, but you're not wrong. Well, I love that. Okay, well, I'm gonna work on that. Thanks for the
well,
tip.
well, let me give you another tip. Eliminate the word work, eliminate the word try, and just throw in practice.
I'm gonna eliminate you instead. How about that?
Boy, we're starting off with a bang today.
Dang. Well, we knew it was a little fiery today, so I'm gonna piggyback off of that last topic and say that, and you said this before. It's really simple. It's easy to remember. The feelings are real. The why is a lie. Among the same category of the thoughts versus the feelings, because in my short story comes from someone who I'm in contact with, who I'm somewhat of a mentor to. I'm there to hold space if needed, if possible. And they were experiencing a lot of they were experiencing something, a feeling. They were going through something, and I was hearing a lot about their thoughts, and I'm thinking this, and I'm wondering this, and just a lot of things that I really actually couldn't even piece together what was actually going on. So I realized after that I didn't really hear anything about the feeling, even if we don't name the feeling. That's what I think I want to get to sooner, is what the energy is for self, not so much the story, because the thoughts are they're so all over the place, and about the past, the future, the fears, the this and that, and it's so noisy. I don't even know where to start. So yeah, as far as what's helpful to focus on for peace.
Well, you asked the right person.
Oh, I
Your mother.
wasn't asking, but it is a topic of conversation.
Well, let me just, regardless of whether you asked or not, the solution is, the practice is to witness all of that turmoil, to witness all of that chaos. And the ego will be enticing you not to witness, and the ego will entice you to get involved. In fact, Moji, I was looking at one of the things he video this week, and he gave the example of a car accident, a red car and a blue car. And you're watching, you're at the bus stop just watching. Red car runs into the blue car, and then the people get out of the car and they're going back and forth. And then a dog gets out of the car, and the dog's, so in other words, but you're at the bus stop watching this. You're not part of the car wreck. You're not part of the accident. And then there's one bystander that gets up and tries to break it up because they're fighting. But be the person at the bus stop just watching all of it. And that's what I practice with these thoughts, because they are, Nathan, you're right, they're incessant. Is that a word? They are endless.
Yeah.
They are so strong, and they are yelling. I mean, if I could give a description, my thoughts are at the top of the mountain, screaming their heads off, trying to get my attention, and trying to and wanting me to identify with them. That's you. No, I'm the person on the bus stop.
Well, this for me takes a little creativity, because I'm saying witness the thoughts. Well, that the programming, the belief, what I've practiced and lived in is, well, that is me. The thoughts are me. The feelings are me. There's no other entity. How can I witness me from this vantage point. So it's really for me being creative about how do I witness. And you and I have talked about all different kinds of ways, putting the thoughts on a stage and seeing it as as a play, and then I'm in the audience and the thoughts and the feelings are on stage. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is sometimes I'll use the image of a king or a person of great knowledge and leadership and zen and peace, just sitting back and watching the town or whatever, the kingdom run around saying shit, trying to get in, giving the king suggestions, come barging in the king's quarters, and the king is just in the throne, peaceful, neutral, witnessing everything. That's another image I practice. So I'm trying to be creative with ways of witnessing.
I love that creativity, and it would be very helpful to write down each creative means to visualize, and because you are creative, you coming up with more than one, because what would work for someone might not work for me. I like the stage, or even the TV. I'm watching TV, but yeah, maybe 10 ways of being creative.
Yeah,
That's
that's
your
really
homework
good. I
assignment.
think maybe I'll write a book too.
Yes, not
Yeah.
maybe. Write a
Yes.
book, and 10 ways of 10 ways to be creative, and then each topic.
Yeah, that's really good actually. I'm feeling the spark from that one.
Well, yes, and that's why your mother, aka RLN, is so valuable.
She is very, very valuable. I'm very lucky, and it feels so great to talk to you once a week.
Well, you picked me, remember? You picked me.
Hey, I completely own that. I picked a good one. I picked a doozy. I'll give you that.
Oh, a doozy and a half. And now I have a question. There's another question that came to you again. I guess, oh,
Ask
these,
Nathan. Segment
yeah,
ask Natie.
that it was Ask Natie. Some people think your name is Natie. I would
I
name
love.
someone Natie. No. Anywho, this is the question. I practice being uninvolved. I practice being an uninvolved witness, but people are constantly trying to involve me in drama, and I am unable to get myself completely detached. Sometimes because I believe and think that I love them. How can I actually, they use the word delusion. Sometimes because I have a delusion that I love them. How can I get out of such a delusion?
Oh, wow. Well, whoever's asking these questions, these are very, very good questions.
Oh,
I'll just
brother.
Well, they are. I'll
They are.
say I just because I think they're rich with topics to talk about and themes of all the things we're talking about. And sometimes, just like we did last week, there might be a question about one thing, but it leads us in a different direction. So I'll just start off. I'll try and make this simple. The first thing I heard was trying to involve me, other people trying to involve me. So I'll just do a check, double, triple check. At the core is we don't know what anyone's trying to do.
We,
I don't know. What then nobody knows. No, I don't know. From where I stand, I can't say, Mom, you're trying to do this or you're trying to do that. Even if you tell me with your words what you're trying to do, I still don't know with certainty. It's still not universal truth. So I just want to clock that as because I've been caught in that so many times of thinking I know what someone's intention is and it's really screwed me over. But I will say that I do believe that a tendency for humanity is to okay, this is drama. I'm experiencing drama, and there's an attraction. There is a tendency to involve others in drama. I am enticed to do that, but my spiritual self tells me that it's actually going to make it worse. Anyway, that's another topic. But then the last part is, I love that you included that word delusion that they used, the delusion that I love them. This is another thing I've stumbled on for a really long time of what does love even mean for me. And I have confused love with wanting to save somebody, or wanting them to save me, or being attracted or allured in some way, or whatever it is. But for me, love is not those things. Love is, I mean, it's kind of hard to describe, but for me, love is acceptance, and acceptance and detachment, and not trying to change them or me or the course of the relationship in any way.
What else do you have?
I think, well, I'll end with the question of how do I get out of the delusion that I love them? I think what I would say, and what I would say to myself is, if I love them and I want to be clear about that, what action can I do, or what inaction can I do that looks like that or feels like that for me? Rather than thinking about it and analyzing it and what's love, it's like, maybe love looks like a phone call in this moment. Make it very, very simple. Or love looks like not reaching out. Maybe loving them is just giving them a little break, giving yourself a break. I don't know what it looks like, but I think a simple action is the easiest way for me to tap into loving someone in the moment.
Wow. This is really good stuff. Okay, while you were talking, you asked the question. I don't even know what love is, or what love is, and then I was inspired to hear love feels like the energy of freedom. Love feels like the energy of contentment. Period. Freedom and contentment. And again, what you said, acceptance.
I love that a lot, because that sounds simple and it sounds true to me.
Yes.
And I
So
think
there's
it is simple. I think love is simple, and it gets complicated so quickly with all the programming and the thoughts, and what other people say, all of that.
Well, I'm going to share my answer. I wrote it out because they asked you first, but I wrote out an answer. People around me constantly try to involve me in drama, and I'm unable to get myself completely detached because I have the delusion that I love them. Okay, my answer is, I did quotes. People around you are not the reason for your involvement in drama. Your mother. You and you alone are responsible for where you go and who you hang out with. Where you go and who you hang out with. Making a decision to value peace more than people. Making a decision to value peace more than people that are programmed for drama is a practice. There is nobody in the mirror but you. Blaming others is a learned program. You are more powerful than that.
Well, I love what you said, and this now I'm coming back to love. I'm going to combine them together. If there's someone that is drama, that is mostly drama, then I am practicing loving myself by not being around them or not participating in that. And it might look like on the outside that I'm ignoring them, or whatever, cold shoulder, whatever it you can put a story around it, and it's really an act of love to myself, and I believe it's an act of love to them too. Because if somebody is drama, I can picture someone, punching themselves in the face, and they're saying, look at me, punch myself in the face. I'm going to keep doing it if you watch me. Well, I'm not going to enable that behavior. That's not love by being around it. I'm going to remove myself. So it is redefining how I think of love.
It is enticing to watch drama. It is enticing to be around drama, but for me, there's a point where it is it is repelling. It's and there was a time in my life where peace felt I avoided. I didn't like that feeling of peace. Where, well, this is it. No, now it's peace all day, all the air day, all the time.
That's right. And then I'm just bringing your word back of guilt of what somebody coming in with drama. You don't want to do gossip with me. You don't want to talk shit with me. You don't want to hang with me, do this drama with me. Well, I'm going to make you feel, all right. And I'm going to try to make you feel guilty with whatever. Well, I don't want to feel guilty, and you can't make me feel guilty anyway. And sometimes that separation or detachment, it is enticing for my ego to say, okay, now it's time to feel guilty because you set some boundary with this person. You're leaving all the stories of not love, the delusion that this isn't love, and now the guilt comes. Well, as far as witnessing, I can step back and say, I see what you're trying to do, but I'm trying to do a new program. And I've been doing this program for the old program for so many years that it's sometimes easier to just go with the old program. But the more I do the new program, the more I say, oh, I witnessed, this is where the guilt comes in. This is where they say this, and they try to pull me in. This is where I pull myself back in. And over time, it becomes the new norm. And that is a miracle.
That's transcending that's transcending, motherfucker.
That's transcending.
That's
We out.
transcending, motherfucker. We out transcend. Well, so now I wanted to share a story that I'm on the phone with someone on this app that I'm on the OWL app. And I'm listening to the conversation, and they didn't call to get another perspective. They didn't call to get to how do I transcend. They didn't call with anything spiritual and so the conversation was very civilian. And I'm sitting there rolling my eyes, and oh God, they have no self-awareness. They don't even realize that I am not interested in any goddamn thing you have to say. It's all this is going in my head. And then the universe hits me with this. Can you listen to them? Can you listen to them the way we listen to them? We don't listen to their words. That you're listening to their words. You're listening to what they're saying. Can you listen to them? Can you feel their heart? Can you feel something other than their words? We don't listen to their words. They didn't say we don't listen to their words. I just threw that in, but they did say, can't you listen to them the way we listen to them? We listen to everyone. We listen to everyone without a complaint, without a judgment, without, oh God, here's Rebecca again. We listen to everyone open. Can you do that? So then I said, fuck you, universe, but I'll practice.
I love that too. I'll practice. Can you? Well, I can practice, and I can be willing to, and I can show up and see what happens, and I can play. I mean, I can even play with it and have maybe a little fun. Oh, I showed up. I fell a little short in this way. It didn't fall short in that way, and then we'll get another chance tomorrow. I mean, when we think about games and things that are enjoyable, sports, and that is the fun. That is the enjoyment. Showing up, seeing what happens. There'll be another game tomorrow. There'll be another game tomorrow. And I think that story is so impactful because yeah, I can I love? Can I listen, love, accept like the universe, like God does? And I do believe that, I mean, sometimes I have to ask myself, I said, did they ask me a question? Did they ask me a question, or are they just looking for me to listen? And I think if they ask me a question, you know I have an answer.
Always.
And I think if someone or me asks God a question, God has an answer too. But it might not be time to ask, maybe it's just time to speak. And you told me about, we were talking about my artistic endeavors, my career, my next steps, all of that. And I think, and part of it, and I said, ask the universe, and I said, I am asking, I am asking. Well, the next step after asking is opening up my ears and listening. And I've been pulling the earwax out of my ears, and I've been slowly listening. And I do believe I'm getting some feedback.
I I am so glad you brought that up because the universe gave me a message or however you want to hear it. And this is time for you to put your seatbelt on, crash helmet, hazmat suit.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need a seatbelt anymore with you. So you can have your hazmat suit, all that. You can have it back. I'm good. Let's hear it.
Okay, we're talking about that's funny. We're talking about money
Mm.
and as far as how the money is complements your gifts or getting money for your gifts or your talents or your passion. And this is our RLN. Can we have another perspective of feeling that sense of satisfaction or contentment that doesn't involve money? Forgive you an example. I'm on the OWL app, and I have just this week now. I hit 1,000 reviews. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. It's 3 years. 1,000 5-star reviews of people that, not everybody, but that talk to me and make a comment about, wow, never thought about it like that. Wow, Rebecca, how impactful. Thank you. That has nothing to do with money. The reward isn't this money thing. My practice is I'm not thinking about money, how to make money. Is there another way to get that sense of satisfaction that doesn't involve money? Money cannot be, for me, cannot be a topic, cannot be a center.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, that's really,
So you getting reward and getting it can only come from money.
well, that's really too bad. I didn't need this the seatbelt, but that was very deflating and disappointing to hear that. And I agree. I agree. No, that is not where that's really not where that feeling of satisfaction and deep success is going to come from, some number in a bank account or something I buy or whatever. I no, I want the feeling, I mean, I was hearing with you at these 1,000 reviews is the time connected with people and being, or connected, just connected, not even with people, just a connection. And that is what I'm also looking for too. And I do want to connect through art, comedy, music, writing, editing. It's a connection, or connection to my God, a connection to myself, a connection to what's going on around me. So I think that is the real nourishment. I'm just saying, look, I'm good with that. And can you throw me a bunch of money too? That's not nothing wrong with asking for that.
Well, there isn't anything wrong with it, but know that it's all coming from your ego and it's always going. And so desiring that, wanting that is just going to come with more desires and more wants. And I'm going to say that this 1,000 reviews. Oh, actually, I have 1,002. This has nothing this isn't a connection for me. I don't look at this as connecting. What I look at this as is sharing what I have been gifted to share or learn or experience, and just sharing. But connection, no thank you. But I get it. Nathan, we're probably we're saying the same thing. Maybe we're saying the same thing, but using different words. But I'm connecting with 1,000 people. No, I'm here. Guess what? You just ran into the house, and I know the best carpenter, and I know the best auto mechanic. Done, and I'm out.
Yes, I love the word sharing. I do think we're talking about the same thing. It's semantics, as they call it. But yeah, I do think we're saying the same thing with different words. And I like the word sharing. I have whatever I have in my psyche, from my life experience, my words, whatever it is. And I do believe I do believe it's meant to be shared. I mean, I'm trying to be mindful of how I say that, but I think yes, it's meant to be shared.
Okay, so let me say something else now. If you ask me or ask Rebecca, uh, yeah, I want to be on the top. Rebecca doesn't have that one anymore. New York Times bestseller. You don't know how long I've thought about Rebecca's thought about that. New York Times bestseller, Pulitzer Prize winner, Peace Prize winner, whatever, all of those awards, accolades, you just throw in money too. It's the same thing. I'm saying no, absolutely not. None of that is going to fill my soul. I am into filling up my soul, not with material things. I don't care what it is. From Rebecca's the best guru. Oh, she just surpassed Eckhart Tolle. No, that's not going to fill my soul. That's not going to feed my soul. Feeding my soul is someone looking at me and saying, you know what? Like in my class, I don't complain like I used to. That's one of the students said. I don't complain as much. That feeds my soul, and that's it.
Well, I hear that loud and clear. I had some feedback yesterday after my sound bath, and this woman who frequently gives me affirming positive energy back, and she really looks in my eyes afterwards. She has an energy about her that feels like she's not trying to kiss my ass. She's not trying to get points. She's not trying to do anything to me. It feels like she's sharing what's going on in her, the truth that's living in her. And she said something like, she said, it's not the way you play the bowl. She said, you said you do the instruments really well. I love that part, but it's you sharing your whole heart in everything you do. And that I'm not, I'll be damned if I'm gonna cry on this show for first time, show 55, whatever shows is, but it's very touching because it felt true for me.
Why
And
don't you want to cry on the show? It's show 67.
cry in front of all of our fans.
All of our fan.
Shout out, by the way, to our fans.
Shout out to that one fan.
So, but yeah, it was very touching and it felt true, and I can really own that as truth. Also didn't feel like I'm not doing it to get that compliment. I'm not trying to do it. It's just me doing what I do without the things in the way, the thoughts, the limiting beliefs, the program beliefs, all of this time and practice spent decluttering so that it's just a smooth ride down the hallway.
What did she say again?
She said you do it with your whole heart. Something along the lines of me sharing my heart. And that felt true for me.
So can you imagine having that or hearing that or experiencing that forever, every single day? It has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with award. That's the shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I
That's
hear
it.
that.
That's it. That's the highest. The highest.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And yeah, keep that coming. And maybe when my back is turned and there's throw a few more dollars in my bank account, there's nothing wrong with that too.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm telling you, all wants and all desires lead to a brick ass wall. Head first.
Well, I do want this show to end soon, but no offense.
Well, I know you were enticed to say that and trying to make me feel guilty about whatever I'm saying, but it's not going to work. The last thing I want to say, well, this is because I have this on my notes. So you have this house and you landscape it, you paint it, new roof, a pool in the yard, flowers, roses, you planters, green grass trees, fruit trees. Does that have anything to do with what's going on inside of the house?
Yes. I'm just kidding.
No. Bad joke. No, nothing. So it's all, everything starts from everything within is it. And the money is outside of the house.
Well, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I want that inside. I want the inside of the house, and I want the closets too, under the carpet, the things that maybe you wouldn't even see if you even inside the house. I want under the house, inside the house, behind the walls is the paint chipping. I want the whole inside of this structure that's me, my quote unquote home in my house to be sparkling clean. And once we're done with the inside, then let's have a little fun with the flowers at front, put up a little thing, some decorations once the inside is clean.
Well, and this, this is the difference between us. You go on with the creativity, with the house, the chipping paint and under the carpet, and all I come up with inside of the house.
Well, that is a difference, and thank God for that because you keep it direct, simple, and clear.
Exactly.
Well, that was a good one.
Wow, wow, it was really good. And I have something I do may I share this questions. Did I share this last week about the questions?
No, can this be our lead in to next week?
Okay, okay. Let's do a lead into next week because this is some powerful
Yeah. So what
shit.
can our viewers expect for next week?
Okay, for next week, the teaser is there are no real questions in existence. There are no real questions in existence.
All right. If you have a question about that, you can tune in next week.
Get it? Tune in to tune out.
And
We are
until then,
always here every Saturday morning,
we're
9:15.
always here.
Always here.
See you soon.
Later.
Hey yo, it's time to go. Yeah. You know what it is. Get into it. Don't act like you don't already know the name. Let's go. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? You heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more.